TV soap news and spoilers say that on October 15th, the world of Beyond the Gates erupted into a storm of raw emotion, shocking revelations, and dangerous decisions that left hearts racing and jaws on the floor. The sleepy town of Crestwood, with its manicured lawns and whispered secrets, became a battlefield of loyalties, love, and lethal orders. If you thought you knew the characters of this gripping saga, the events of this day will unravel everything you believed about them. From deadly directives to confessions that could shatter marriages, the stakes have never been higher. Let's dive into the chaos that unfolded, where every choice teetered on the edge of destruction. Randy's deadly directive, a shocking target revealed. The sun had barely risen over Crestwood's rolling hills when Randy Carter, the town's enigmatic loner with a past shrouded in mystery, received a chilling order that would change his life forever. Known for his stoic demeanor and a knack for staying out of trouble, Randy was no stranger to the darker undercurrents of Crestwood. But nothing could have prepared him for the message that arrived in the dead of night, slipped under his door in an unmarked envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper, its words scrawled in a hurried, almost frantic hand: eliminate the target. No mistakes. The name, Cassandra Reed. Cassandra Reed. The name hit Randy like a freight train. She wasn't just anyone, she was Crestwood's beloved librarian, a woman whose warm smile and gentle demeanor had endeared her to everyone in town. Her only crime, as far as anyone knew, was her insatiable curiosity and a penchant for asking questions that made the wrong people nervous. Why her? And who was behind this sinister command? Theories swirled in Randy's mind as he sat in his dimly lit apartment, the weight of the order pressing against his chest. Was it Joey Malone, the shadowy figure who controlled Crestwood's underground dealings? Joey, with his slick suits and cold, calculating eyes, had the power to pull strings no one else dared touch. Or was it someone else entirely, someone with a personal vendetta, hiding behind a mask of respectability? Perhaps it was Mayor Thompson, whose pristine public image concealed a ruthless streak, or even Dr. Evelyn Hart, the town's psychologist, who knew everyone's secrets and wielded them like weapons. Randy's hands trembled as he stared at the note. He wasn't a killer, not anymore. Years ago, he'd left a life of violence behind, vowing never to cross that line again. But the note came with a threat: fail, and your own secrets will be exposed. Someone knew about his past, his real name, the blood on his hands, the life he'd buried in a shallow grave of lies. The question wasn't just who was giving the order, but how far they'd go to ensure he obeyed. As the clock ticked toward midnight, Randy faced an impossible choice: protect his own survival or spare an innocent woman whose only sin was knowing too much. The streets of Crestwood were quiet that night, but the air crackled with tension. Randy slipped out of his apartment, the note burning a hole in his pocket. Every shadow seemed to whisper accusations, every creak of a floorboard a warning. If he was going to uncover the truth behind this deadly directive, he'd need to tread carefully, and trust no one. Danny's tangled heart, a marriage on the brink. While Randy grappled with his moral dilemma, Danny Harper was fighting a battle of her own, one that threatened to tear her world apart. In the cozy, candlelit dining room of the Harper household, the air was thick with unspoken truths. Danny's husband, Andre, sat across from her, his dark eyes searching her face for answers she wasn't ready to give. The topic? Her ex, Bill Thornton, the man who had once held her heart and, it seemed, still hadn't let go. Andre was no fool. He'd noticed the way Danny's gaze lingered on old photos, the way her voice softened when Bill's name came up in conversation. Their marriage, once a beacon of stability in Crestwood's turbulent social scene, was now a house of cards, trembling under the weight of doubt. Danny, Andre said, his voice low but laced with steel, I need the truth. Do you still love him? The question hung between them like a guillotine. Danny's heart pounded as memories of Bill flooded her mind. He was the opposite of Andre, wild, unpredictable, a storm to Andre's calm. Their romance had been a whirlwind, passionate and all-consuming, until it crashed and burned in a blaze of betrayal. Bill had left Crestwood years ago, but his recent return had stirred something in Danny she couldn't ignore. A late-night coffee here, a chance encounter at the market there, each moment with Bill was a spark that threatened to ignite the carefully constructed life she'd built with Andre. "I don't know," Danny whispered, her voice barely audible. It was the truth, but it wasn't enough. Andre's jaw tightened, and for a moment, the room seemed to shrink, the walls closing in on Danny's indecision. She loved Andre, his kindness, his steadiness, the way he made her feel safe. But Bill was a fire in her veins, a reminder of a version of herself she'd buried long ago. Could she confess the truth to Andre, knowing it might shatter their marriage? Or would she lie, burying her feelings deeper and hoping they'd fade? As Andre waited for an answer, his own unresolved feelings surfaced. He'd always known Danny carried a piece of Bill with her, but he'd believed their love was strong enough to overcome it. Now, doubt gnawed at him. Was he enough for her? Or was he fighting a losing battle against a ghost from her past? The tension in the Harper household was a ticking time bomb, and Danny's next words could either defuse it or set off an explosion that would leave their marriage in ruins. Leslie's bold gambit. A past that haunts, a future she craves. Across town, Leslie Monroe was weaving a plan as intricate and dangerous as a spider's web. Known for her sharp wit and unrelenting ambition, Leslie had always been a force to be reckoned with in Crestwood. But on October 15th, she took a step that could either secure her future or unravel everything she'd worked for. Her target? Ted Sullivan, the man she'd loved in silence for years, and the key to unlocking her deepest desires. Leslie's past with Ted was a tapestry of missed opportunities and unspoken promises. They'd been close once, back when they were young and the world seemed full of possibilities. But life had pulled them apart, Ted's marriage to Claire, Leslie's rise in Crestwood's elite circles, and the secrets they both carried. Now, with Claire out of the picture and Ted newly single, Leslie saw her chance. She wasn't one to let sentimentality cloud her judgment, but the pull of what could have been was too strong to resist. Using the past as her weapon, Leslie orchestrated a bold move. She invited Ted to the old gazebo by Willow Lake, the place where they'd shared their first kiss all those years ago. The setting was no accident, every detail was calculated to stir memories of a time when they'd been unstoppable together. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the lake, Leslie laid her cards on the table. "Ted," she said, her voice steady but charged with emotion, "we were meant for more than this. We still are." Ted's reaction was a mix of surprise and wariness. He hadn't forgotten Leslie's ambition, her ability to bend the world to her will. But he also couldn't deny the spark that still lingered between them. Leslie's move was a gamble, one that could either rekindle a love long buried or expose her vulnerabilities to a man who might not be ready to trust again. As the night deepened, the gazebo became a stage for a dance of desire and doubt, with Leslie's future hanging in the balance. Kat and Nicole, a mother-daughter divide. Meanwhile, the mother-daughter duo of Kat and Nicole Bennett was navigating their own emotional minefield. Kat, fiery and fiercely independent, had always been at odds with her mother's cautious, reserved nature. But on October 15th, both women faced turning points in their relationships that could either bring them closer or drive them further apart. Nicole, still reeling from her divorce, was grappling with the possibility of opening her heart again. Catton Hayes, Crestwood's charming bookstore owner, had been a steady presence in her life, offering quiet support and a listening ear. But Nicole's scars ran deep, and the idea of letting someone in, especially someone as kind as Catton, terrified her. Would she take the leap and share her fears with him, or would she retreat into the safety of solitude? Kat, on the other hand, was consumed by her feelings for Tomas Rivera, the town's brooding artist whose work spoke to her soul. Their connection was electric, but complicated. Tomas was unpredictable, his heart a labyrinth of passion and pain. Kat wanted him, wanted the chaos and the beauty he represented, but she wasn't sure if she could handle the cost. As she confided in her best friend, Mia, Kat's vulnerability shone through. "He's everything I want," she admitted, "but what if he's also everything I can't handle?" The updates in Kat and Nicole's lives were more than personal milestones. They were a mirror to the choices they'd made and the risks they were willing to take. For Nicole, it was about trust. For Kat, it was about surrender. As they navigated their separate paths, the question loomed: would their relationship as mother and daughter survive the truths they were about to uncover? A town on the edge. October 15th in Crestwood was more than a day, it was a reckoning. Randy's deadly order forced him to confront his past and question his future. Danny's indecision threatened to unravel her marriage, while Andre's search for the truth pushed him to the brink. Leslie's bold move for Ted was a high-stakes gamble, and Kat and Nicole's evolving relationships tested the bonds of family and love. Each story was a thread in the intricate tapestry of Beyond the Gates, a saga where every choice carried the weight of destiny. As the night drew to a close, Crestwood held its breath. The secrets that had simmered beneath the surface were rising, threatening to erupt in ways no one could predict. Who was pulling the strings behind Randy's order? Would Danny confess her lingering love for Bill, or would she fight to save her marriage? Could Leslie win Ted's heart, or would her ambition be her undoing? And would Kat and Nicole find the courage to embrace their truths, or would they remain trapped in their fears? The answers lie in the heart of Crestwood, where love and betrayal dance in the shadows, and no one emerges unscathed. If you want to uncover the full story of October 15th, dive into Beyond the Gates and witness the drama unfold. Our TV channel Soap News and Spoilers is the place for those who want to know how the Salem story goes, as well as great Beyond the Gates updates and news, so subscribe to our channel to get what you want. Bye-bye.